The Olympic Winter Games Milano Cortina 2026 opening ceremony gets underway this afternoon. For more, let's bring in CP24's Arda Zakarian joining us live from the newsroom. Arda.
Yes, the opening ceremony is going to happen very soon. And with me right now is the Brian Orser. Brian, thank you so much for joining us. You are a Canadian Olympic champion, two-time silver medalist in 1984 and 1988 in men's figure skating. And you are currently a coach as well, coaching out of the Toronto Cricket Skating and Curling Club. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this interview with me. Take us back to your time when the opening ceremonies were happening, when the anticipation of the Olympics was underway. How are you feeling?
Well, you know what, for me, especially my second Olympics in Calgary, so it was at home. I had the honor and the privilege to carry the flag into the opening ceremony. So I was the flag bearer. And it was such a perfect script for me because I came in as a reigning world champion. The Olympics were at home. I got asked to carry the flag. I mean, it was perfect. It was, it's just one of those life-changing memories, really.
You spoke about carrying the flag. What other moments or performances stood out to you from that time?
Well, it was the time of the Battle of the Bryans, and I think a lot of people can remember that if you're of that vintage. And it's one of those things like, where were you when the Battle of the Bryans were happening? Because it was a rivalry between the two of us, the two Bryans, and I was third in the compulsory figures, Brian was second. I was first in the short, Brian was second, and then I was second in the free program, Brian was first. It ended up going his way by just 0.1. But I just remember the fans and the anticipation. And the sports psychologist I used to work with, Peter Jensen, always said that the Olympic Games is the only sporting event really that lives up to its billing every single time. And there's no difference this time in Italy with the games opening today. I've got some friends coming over. We're going to watch the opening ceremonies. And it never lets us down, that's for sure.
From a skater's perspective, what do you think are the biggest challenges that skaters face in today's Winter Olympics?
Everybody's prepared. So there are really no major challenges other than if you're dealing with an injury or something of that sort. But of all of the teams, and especially the Canadian team, it's a great team. They're well prepared. They've been practicing well. I think from what I saw this morning with the team event, they skated well. So the venues are great. It's just such a great thing. And when you're watching some of the teams and the skaters that go there for the first time, I'm just like, I'm always kind of watching to see their reaction because it is kind of one of the coolest things on the planet to be able to participate in the Olympics, and not really just only as an athlete, but as a coach and as an official and as a fan. It's really a special time. And once it gets underway, this afternoon, we're going to all have the Olympic fever.
Tell us about, all these athletes have been training for virtually their entire lives for this moment. But what goes into all of the preparation, all of the training as an athlete and now as a coach?
Oh, boy. It just always comes down to the preparation and the training and just being ready. And I was always told by my coach that you can always count on your normal. Just, and count on your average. So go out there and if your average is high and you've been training well and you've been hitting all the jumps and you've been doing, just giving everything you have in training and staying healthy, you can always count on your average. And then when you just kind of go, okay, I just have to do my average. It's, your shoulders drop, you can take a deep breath and then just let everything play out. There's so many great athletes in all of the sports, really, and they always continue to push each other and they make each other better. I was better skater and competitor because of Brian Boitano. Elizabeth Manley was a better competitor because of Katarina Witt. And it goes on and on. Kurt Browning was better because of Elvis Stoico. So these are the great things about sport. And that's what the Olympics is all about. You get the greatest. It's every 4 years. it's totally different than a world championship. It's the Olympic Games, and it's special.
Brian, you said earlier, if you are from that vintage, remembering the Battle of the Bryans, so many people in our newsroom said that they were watching, they remember their parents watching, and a lot of our producers actually are former figure skaters or in the figure skating world, and of course they remember this. But what do you, and I'm sure you inspired so many people in your time, what do you think the role is of the Winter Olympics in inspiring the next generation?
Well, you know what? You just said it perfectly, because that's what the Olympics will do. Just even you watch the torch relay, you see the hype, and you see how it just is everything the Olympics is supposed to be. We continue to inspire the youth. I was inspired by a skater by the name of Tyler Cranston, who was a bronze medalist in 1976. There are, Liz Manley inspired others later, Kaylin Osmond, who went on to be a world champion. Kurt Browning inspired the Jeffrey Buttles of the world. So that is kind of a responsibility that we have as athletes and as role models and as Canadians, especially when we're going abroad and we're representing our country and we get to wear our uniform and they get to march in behind the Canadian flag today. That is a big responsibility, and you're a role model for the younger ones coming up, and it's a big task, and one that we were all happy to take on.
Brian, thank you so much. It was a pleasure to speak with you. Thank you, and have fun watching the opening ceremonies. Brian Orser is a Canadian Olympic champion, two-time silver medalist in 1984 and 1988 in men's figure skating. Thank you again.